Hey ladies, hello 8th grade. Coming at you with a grammar video today, trying to wrap up this chapter before the end of the year. I don't think we're going to start a new chapter, so when we finish this chapter, it's just going to be the end, okay? So there's an end in sight. There's no time for a new chapter, so we're just going to finish this one and finish strong, and then we'll focus on vocabulary and your speeches and things like that for the last week or so of school, okay? So I want you to get out your workbook and we're going to go over your answers. So we're on pages 153, I believe, and 154. You had two exercises dealing with conjunctions. So we're going to talk about conjunctions and then we're going to move on and talk about interjections a little bit today. So I'm going to go over your answers. I think I went over some of them with you, but that was like last week and I don't remember which ones I went over, and I don't want to go back and watch my own video because it kind of creeps me out to see my own videos. So I'm just going to go over all of them with you, okay? So on page 153, that's where we're going to start, 7-7, you had to circle the coordinating conjunction, underline the phrases that were joined, and then label what part of speech it was joining. Okay, so number one, and is the one we circled. We had play the violin should be underlined, and sang at an early age underlined, and it was two complete predicates, two compound predicates. So you should have wrote predicate in the blank, or PRED for short. Number two, we have the circled and then we have alone and independent where the words underlined. Those are the ones joined by the and they are predicate adjectives. So you should have wrote PA in the blank. Number three, you circle and, underline musician and teacher. Those are predicate nouns. So you should have wrote PN. I'm pretty sure I went over these ones with you. Prince Nicholas Esterhaz and his court. You circle the and, you're underlining the prince's name and his court, which are both objects of the preposition for. Okay? So now I'm pretty sure the next page are the ones you had to do on your own. All right, so number 5, circle and then you have court and job. Those are the words that are being joined, and those are direct objects telling you what he left. He left court and his job. So it should be a D-O in the blank. Number 6, you're circling the and again, and you're underlining symphonies, string quartets, sonatas. And all three of those are part of a compound subject. They are all subjects. You should have an S in the blank. Number 7, you're circling the or, and then you have perform or mention, and those are the verbs in the sentence. You should have written verb in the blank or put a V there. Number 8, you circled again the and, you underline pupil and friend, pupil, those are the two words that are joined, and they are predicate nouns linked to Beethoven with became. It's a linking, your linker verb. Number 9, you're circling but, that's your conjunction. 104, 108 are underlined, and those are adjectives explaining what symphonies, which symphonies. He just numbered them. They were all just numbered. Number 10, you're circling yet, and then you should have underlined often and unwillingly, and those are both adverbs describing how he traveled or in what way he traveled. Okay? So now this next one is pretty much the same thing except for you're labeling above the word instead of in a blank. So I think I went over the first couple of these with you. Number 1, we're circling and. We have medicine and pharmacy, which are both direct objects explaining what was practiced. Number 2, we're circling yet, and we're underlining tasty and ineffective, which are both adjectives describing medicines. Number 3, you're circling and, underlining medicines, foodstuffs, flavored carbonated beverages, or you could have just underlined beverages. You didn't have to underline all the adjectives. And those are direct objects explaining what was included. So you should have wrote D-O above them. Number 4, you're circling but, and then you have mixed and did name. Those are verbs. So you should have labeled them with V's. Number 5, you're circling and you're going to underline bun and cone, or the hot dog bun and the ice cream cone. Those are objects of the preposition with. The bun and the cone are objects of the preposition. Number 6, you're underlining or and but. That was a tricky one. Spicy, tangy, sour are all linked by the or and the but, and those are all predicate adjectives linked to Dr. Pepper with tasted. I don't think Dr. Pepper is sour. They must have fixed it. Okay. Then we have and is your conjunction in number 7, and then Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola are subjects, so you should label them with an S. Number 8, you circle the and. It's linking the entire predicate of acquired national distribution rights for Dr. Pepper and also increased competition with the Coca-Cola company. Those are complete predicates, so you should write P-R-E-D. Number 9, we have and again, and we're linking removed the caffeine and added vitamin B1 to the drink. So those are predicates. Why does it have, I'm not sure why it has in 1939 as an object of the preposition underlined. Did it tell you to do that? Underline words and phrases the conjunction joins. Label the words or groups, blah, 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 da, 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 da. I don't know. I think that's a mistake in my key. What we're looking at is the and links the predicate remove the caffeine with the predicate added vitamin B1 to the drink. Then number 10, we have quickly and loudly. So you're circling the and, underlining quickly and loudly. Those are adverbs. Okay. So that was your homework. So please fix those. I hope you followed along and didn't do too poorly. A lot of the challenging part with that section really was just remembering your parts of speech and being able to tell if it's an object of preposition or a direct object or what have you. That was the hardest part. All right, so now we're talking about interjections on page 55. Interjections indicate emotion, disagreement, agreement, politeness, hesitation, or a beginning or a greeting. Most interjections show strong feeling and they're sort of interjected into the sentence. So they're giving us some examples. Emotion, where you would say, wow, we're finally at the top. Or agreement, yes, we climbed 100 steps. Greetings, hello, when did you arrive? Politeness, I enjoyed the view. Thank you. Hesitation, well, you can come back anytime. Interjections are not a super important part of the sentence. You can take them out usually, and the sentence will still make sense. They're not the subject, they're not the verb, but they can be used as verbs sometimes, and they can be used as adjectives and things like that. But in this case, at the top here, they're just interjected like the beginning or the end of the sentence, and they're not an integral part. Now, sometimes, let's see here, interjections can stand alone and punctuated as sentences. So they could be punctuated as its own sentence. But oftentimes, then now they're going to tell us about when they can function as, unlike prepositions and conjunctions, they do not show relationships between other words. And they don't function as subjects, predicates, objects, or modifiers. Because an interjection has no grammatical function, it can be omitted from the sentence without changing the meaning much. Only thing is that you're missing that emotion. Okay, so interjections are like, they're interjected. Now, some words that are used as interjections can also function as other parts of speech, but if they're functioning as another part of speech, they're not functioning as an interjection. It's either one or the other. So, for example, here they have, your visit will please her. I can't read today. I'm sorry. Your visit will please her. They're using please as a verb here. Or you could say, leave your dog outside, please. In that case, please is an interjection. Here they have, she allows no dogs in her house. No is an adjective. Or you can use it as an interjection. No, she will not make an exception for your dog. Now, in the first set of examples, the word please functions as a transitive verb. Please is as an interjection in the second one. All right, so now, because of the fact that interjections don't actually function as a part of the sentence, if we were diagramming, which we're not going to do because we're not together and I don't have my smart board to do screen capture and all that fancy stuff, which I don't know how to do anyways, to be honest. So even if I had my smart board, I still wouldn't do it. I'd probably learn if we were in the classroom. If we end up next year having to do this, I'll get better at the technology with the smart board and stuff. But for now, we're just trying to make do. But what I'm trying to say is you don't have to diagram any sentences. But I'm still going to explain to you that because an interjection is not part of the sentence, it's not really part of the sentence line in the diagram, and it actually gets like its own little blank. So you can see that on page 155, how yes is like above the sentence. It's not even on the regular sentence line. Okay, so in summary, this is on page 156. An interjection is a word that stands alone. It's not modifying other words or working as a part of the sentence pattern. Interjections show motion, agreement, or disagreement, greeting, politeness, hesitation, or beginning. Some words can be used as interjections or other parts of speech. So what they're going to have you do in one of these exercises on page 157 is decide how the word is used. Oh, not yet. I think that might be coming. Yeah, anyways. Okay. So now we're practicing. So the first practice on page 156 that you have to do is to underline the interjections in the following sentences. So number 1, will you please tell Lori that she needs to come to the office right away? Please is the interjection. Number 2, yes, I will tell her as quickly as possible. Yes is the interjection. I'm hoping this is easy for you. Hopefully you're sitting here thinking like, oh, finally an easy grammar lesson. Okay. So I'm going to have you finish those 3 through 10. Then 7-10, use the skill. You're actually going to fill in each blank with a conjunction or a preposition that makes sense and fits the sentence. There's probably more than one answer for these, but in a lot of cases, it's going to be one that really makes sense more than others. So, for example, the story of Queen Esther blank, her cousin Mordecai is evidence blank, God's care for his people. Oh, these are sort of hard because you have to kind of interpret what the sentence is trying to say. So what it's going to read, you're going to put and in the first blank, you're going to put of in the second. So the story of Queen Esther and her cousin Mordecai is evidence of God's care for his people. Okay, so try to fill in the blanks. These ones are challenging. So if you struggle with this one, that's okay. Some people have a hard time interpreting the sentence and deciding, especially if there's a lot of blanks, then it gets a little bit tricky. But you should be able to tell by the sentence structure whether you need a conjunction or a preposition. That should be able to help you out. So then you're going to finish that. And then I also want you to do 7-11 on 157, in which you're going to underline the interjections or conjunctions and then label them as either an interjection or a conjunction. So number 1, we have, hey, did you read about Dave Dravecki? Underline hey, that's an interjection. You're going to write interjection abbreviated in the blank. Number 2, Dave played for San Diego Padres and the San Francisco Giants. You're going to underline and, that's a conjunction. So you're going to abbreviate conjunction in the blank. So you're going to complete those as well. And that's it. We're just going to do 156 and 157. So do those questions and then take a picture and send them to me. Hopefully these are a little bit easier, except for that 7-10 might be a little tricky. If you have too much trouble on it, just do the best you can. Make some educated guesses because I'll go over them in the next video. Okay? All right. Have a nice day. Bye.